blood pressure and cholesterol. Guys, we have 20 minutes left. 20 minutes to make this work.
I think there was.
Could you do me a favor,
Great use
Bert?
of the time.
Would you do me a favor?
Yes.
My favorite story is the whole idea of the show, the Van Wa. Would you mind telling everybody that?
It's very quick.
But I just love to hear you tell it.
Yeah, when I was in college, I was in college for a long time. And, Rolling Stone wrote an article about me, calling me the #1 party animal in the country. And then Oliver Stone optioned the rights to my life. I just ran into Oliver Stone yesterday. How crazy is that?
Where?
That's really
At
crazy.
Good Morning America. I'm in the elevator. And, okay, so, now this makes sense. All right, let's talk about this.
Okay.
So,
How did Rolling Stone find you?
They called up like 5 different people at the heads of the college, and they all said my name. They're like, if you want one tour guide for the college.
Wasn't the article supposed to be
about
Florida State is the #1 party college?
Right. And then he hung out, our journalist hung out with me for like a week.
You were the liaison.
And he wrote the article, and then Jan Werner, who's the editor of Rolling Stone, was like, let's just make it about this kid. And so, changed my life entirely. I had no future. None. Like less than none. I went to interviews right before the article came out, and I was like in the interviews going, I'm going to go into the bathroom and just sit on the toilet because I don't want to talk to anybody. So the article comes out, changes my life. Within a week or two, Oliver Stone options the rights to my life. I get offered a book deal.
Wow.
And then I decide I get the balls to decide to do comedy. Right. And that's why I respect real comedians. People who just said, I'm funny, I'm going to try it.
Right.
I decided to do it because I was thrust into the spotlight in 1997, and I was like, and everyone was like, you should try to do, if you want to do comedy, try to do comedy. And they set up a comedy night for me. And so that's why I got into comedy. But, so they opted the rights to my life.
But you delivered.
Just sat on it,
you
right?
weren't Cato, you delivered.
Well, what happened was, I then got a deal with Will Smith like a few months later. Because I started doing stand-up. I moved to New York 6 months later. Will Smith sees me do stand-up, and I get a deal with Will Smith. And then Will
For
was
what,
like...
a rap album?
No, for a sitcom. Yeah, Overbrook.
Yeah.
I got a sitcom deal. So Will says...
Were you sitting in a room full of like Will and his posse at one point, not knowing what was going to happen?
Hold on.
With a shirt on,
There's
for
a
sure.
lot. We're talking about a lot of stories right now.
Okay.
Yes. The first time I met Will, my dad subtly convinced me that he thought that Will did not want to do a development deal, but that he wanted to have sex with me.
And he wanted to do it at Planet Hollywood.
I wanted to do
It's a very public place.
We had a meeting at his label, or like wherever he was doing the album, with 2 folding chairs in the middle of a dance studio. We talked for like an hour, and then at the end of the hour he goes, I like you. And then mind you, the whole deal was depending on whether or not Will liked me. So I'm like, awesome.
Right.
And then he goes, what are you doing tonight? And like, I'm like excited. I'm like, nothing. And then he goes, let's go to a movie. And I'm like, okay. And so, and then he goes, I'll meet you at Planet Hollywood at 7. And I'm like, all right. And I leave. I call my dad, and my dad's like, oh, he wants to queer you.
How right your father was.
I go, what? He goes, he wants to queer you. It's called the casting couch. He goes, he wants to have sex with you. That's what they do. They find young guys like you, and they have sex with you. And I was like, Dad, that's impossible. I just hung out with him. He's not gay. And he goes, oh, really? He goes,
You ever have a grown man ask you to the movies before?
he goes, what's more likely? The fact that you're so talented. After doing stand-up for 6 months, Will Smith wants to give you a development deal? Or that he's gay? And he wants to have sex with you? I'm like, So I go, what do I do? And my dad goes, show up.
Do your job, son.
You squeal like a pig and then you buy me a
Take
car.
a shot for the family.
So I showed up to Planet Hollywood, and it's like, and I'm sitting there waiting in the waiting room, and no one's coming out. And then all of a sudden, like, I asked the girl, I go, is Will Smith here? She's like, no, not in Planet Hollywood. And then all of a sudden, this 6'7", like 350-pound black dude rolls out. His name's Charlie Mack. He's a real dude.
Yeah.
from the song.
Right.
So he comes up from a stairwell I didn't see, and he just looks around, looks at me, and goes, "You Bert?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Downstairs." So now I'm thinking I gotta have sex with him too. And I'm thinking like,
add-ons.
This is gonna be does he go first or second? Like, where do you want that to happen?
I'm gonna break you in, bud. I'm gonna break you in and then pass you off.
They call this tilling the field.
I'm gonna prime you. I'm gonna prime you.
I'm gonna prime you.
The fluffer.
So I go downstairs to a room that's no bigger than this room, and there's 10 black dudes, right? 10 black dudes all standing against the walls. It's covered by curtains, and there's a folding table in the center. And I'm just standing there, and I walk in, they're like, and no one says a word. No one says a word.
It's like the back room of a strip club in Atlanta.
It's the down low.
And I'm starting to panic. I'm really starting to panic because I'm thinking, my dad was right. I'm going to have sex with 10, 11, 13 black dudes. I'm sure he's bringing Jazzy Jeff. Right? And it's happening on this folding table. So I just grab a corner of the wall and I just put my back up. I don't make eye contact with the soul. I don't even look at anybody. And then all of a sudden Will comes down with Jazzy Jeff, right? I swear to God, Jazzy Jeff rolls in. I'm like, at first I'm excited. I'm like, oh, Jazzy Jeff. And then I'm like thinking, well, he'll go first.
And then you gotta throw him out.
Yeah.
Right after he's done, you gotta throw him out the front door.
So, and Will looks at me and he goes, "Guys, this is Bert," and everyone gets excited, like real excited, like, "Oh yeah, and they all start walking directly towards me, like everyone. I'm like about to grab a knee, like let's start them off on my knees. You know, like, all of a sudden the curtains behind me open. There's a full-on movie theater right behind me, and it's set up to play American Pie. And Will goes, "Grab us 2 seats. I'll get us drinks." And I was like, "Okay." And I'm like, whoa, like I didn't think, so I grab his seats and he comes up and then he gives me a drink. We drank through the whole movie and then watched the movie American Pie.
You shared the drink?
And we had like, you could order whatever you wanted, like shrimp and drinks, and then at the end of the movie he goes, "What did you think of it?" Now mind you, I'm trying to get a development deal, so I'm like, "Oh, it's the greatest movie I've ever seen." Because I want him to think that I'm current with that, whatever it is. And he goes,
Right.
"No, what did you think about, like, who's here?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "Take a look around." And I look around. And he's like, "Is Big Daddy Kane, is Kool Mo D, is Biz Markie?"
What?
And I'm like, I could have had sex with Biz Markie. What? Yeah, and so it was all of them, and then
Just as long as you didn't have to lip
And you were
kiss
shooting
them.
one of those rap.
Yes.
Stop the violence.
So to finish the story, yes, that article was written. It started my career, and then because of Hollywood turnaround, it became the movie Van Wilder.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and finish out with these guys, the DVE comedy.
We haven't even started whiskey yet.
I know, but we got to tell everyone about the Billy Gardell Porch Show we're doing.
No, I am not going to be a part of this.